Hi, I'm Lucy and this is my personal teaching statement. My education started from the very beginning. When just before I turned 1, I started early learning at a childcare centre. I moved around to a lot of child centres around Australia as my dad was in the army, so we moved around a bit. I even attended kindergarten in Wagga Wagga in New South Wales, and then after that we moved back up to Queensland to start primary school. I did the entirety of my primary schooling at All Saints Parish School in Albany Creek, where most of my cousins went and my aunt taught. I graduated from All Saints in 2015, and from there I went on to do my secondary schooling at St. Rita's College in Clayfield. I was there for the entirety of my high schooling and I graduated there in 2021 with a 90.75 ATAR. I was very privileged to be able to go to St. Rita's College and have so many exciting opportunities there, like going to New York in 2019 for an arts trip as I was an arts student. I was also able to study a Certificate 3 in early childhood education throughout my senior years. I know I want to teach in a Catholic school one day, as I am a Catholic, and I must take into account that not every child at a Catholic school is going to have the same beliefs that I do or come from the same background as I do. And I think acknowledging these biases is really important going into this profession and many other professions, as we live in a very multicultural society in Australia, and I'm going to have to keep my mind open to many different perspectives. I think it is important to truly try and understand and accept where people are coming from, their cultures, their backgrounds and their beliefs. And that really fosters a strong classroom environment. My motivation to teach is to have an influence on the lives of young people. I want to give an opportunity for children to learn in a safe and nurturing environment, because they may not necessarily have that at home. I want to give them somewhere where differentiated learning is successful, because again, that's not necessarily something that every teacher can provide. I want to provide an environment where everyone feels it's okay to make mistakes and to try new things. I want to create innovative lessons that intrigue students who don't have a good relationship with school. I want to make learning fun. In her article, Biesta shone light on the challenges of education, particularly on the idea of education not learning intrigued me. I believe it's important that we set goals and intended outcomes for our students, and it allows them to learn for a purpose, not just open-endedly. We must acknowledge that there is a difference between education and learning in order to see the value in a formal education for all people. This idea of a formal education being important affirms the notion that education is a fundamental human right that all people should be able to have. And it also affirms the fact that not everybody can just be a teacher. Whilst many parents during COVID and online learning might have thought, oh, cool, we can do this now, we've got this. We know more than what teachers know because they're our kids. Yes, parents are a very important aspect in the teaching of their child in valuable life skills and stuff like that, but the role of an educator is just as important, as it allows for a specialized education at the hands of a professional. When we give students an outcome to aim for, I believe they are more motivated to learn, rather than just saying we're learning this because we have to, or we're learning it because we need to know it to do the next thing. We're giving them real life uses for what they are learning and how it is applicable to their own lives. This also allows us as educators to reflect on why we are teaching them what we are teaching them and how it is useful in real life. It also allows us to assess how we're teaching it and is this the best way we can do it. In that vein, I think I have a good understanding of different ways to teach students, as I have a background in early childhood education and I tutor students as well. The concept of managing educational inputs and outcomes is a topic that I must keep at the forefront of my mind going through my teaching journey. Biesta really reinforces in her article that it is a teacher's responsibility to manage the educational outcomes for the subject and to ensure that all students are interpreting the content and understanding it so that they can succeed. I can do this in my practice by differentiating lessons, giving different techniques for students to learn the topic, or even altering assessment to fit the learning types and abilities. And that's how I can differentiate to help my students achieve the best possible educational outcome.